The Fisherman and the Big Whale. High up on a rocky cliff by the endless sea lived old Finn, a cheerful and kind fisherman. He wore a big, floppy straw hat that always tilted slightly to one side, and his wrinkled face was brightened by a warm smile. Finn's small cottage stood close to the lighthouse that watched over the waves, its light guiding sailors safely through the dark nights. Every morning, just as the golden sun peeked over the horizon and the lighthouse's beam faded away, Finn began his day. He loved the sea, the way it sang to him with its crashing waves and salty winds, the mysteries it held deep within, and the endless adventures it promised. Finn had a trusted companion, Amber, the lighthouse keeper's orange cat. Amber would often sit by the window, lazily watching Finn pack his fishing gear. She was always ready to greet him when he returned from the sea, hoping for a tasty fish treat. "Time to greet the sea," Finn would say each morning, cheerfully tightening his boots. He loved his simple life by the roaring waters. Finn pushed his sturdy little boat into the water as the seagulls called out from the skies above. The sun shimmered on the waves as he rode out into the endless blue. "Ah, today feels just right for a good catch," Finn said to himself, humming a jaunty tune. Out at sea, Finn dropped his fishing line into the water and waited patiently. He was an expert at fishing and knew the sea could be unpredictable, full of surprises. While he waited, he repaired his fishing net and whistled to the gulls circling overhead. "You'll see, Amber," he chuckled to himself, imagining the lighthouse cat's happy purrs when he returned. "Today, supper will be extra special." Just as the calm waves rocked his boat, Finn suddenly felt a sharp, powerful tug on his fishing line. "Whoa there," he gasped, gripping the rod with all his might. Whatever was on the other end wasn't a regular fish, it was strong, unbelievably strong. The little boat swayed wildly as Finn held on. His arms strained as the fishing line tugged and pulled. "What kind of fish is this?" Finn wondered aloud, sweating from the effort. After a long struggle, Finn's eyes widened in amazement as something huge began to rise from the water. "It can't be, is it?" he gasped, leaning forward in awe. Emerging from the sea, glistening under the sunlight, was the most magnificent creature Finn had ever seen. It was a massive blue whale, its body glimmering with patterns that seemed to glow like stars. The whale's huge, kind eyes looked directly at Finn. Finn dropped his fishing line, utterly amazed. "A whale," he whispered. "And not just any whale, a magical one." And then, to Finn's biggest surprise, the whale began to speak. Its voice was deep and gentle, like the rolling waves. "Greetings, fisherman," said the whale. "It seems we've met in quite an extraordinary way." Finn was speechless for a moment. Then he stuttered, I didn't mean to catch you. I've never seen anything like you before. Who are you?" "I am a traveler of the vast oceans," the whale replied. "I've seen places you cannot even dream of. Tell me, what brings you to the water every day, fisherman?" Finn sat back in his boat, still in awe of the magical creature before him. "I fish to keep my village fed," he explained. "The sea has always been my friend. It's my home as much as the land is." The whale smiled, at least, it looked like it smiled, and began to share its stories. It told Finn about underwater cities of colorful coral, shimmering fish that danced like rainbows, and mysterious ships buried deep beneath the waves. Finn listened, wide-eyed, as the whale described journeys to distant oceans, where the water sparkled like diamonds under the moonlight. "What a life you lead," said Finn, his heart racing with excitement. "Indeed," said the whale. "But the ocean is fragile, Fisherman. It is full of wonder, yes, but it needs care and kindness from those who rely on it." As the conversation continued, a bond grew between old Finn and the whale. They spoke of the sea, its mysteries, and its beauty. The whale's wise words stayed in Finn's heart, and he began to see his beloved ocean in a new light. "I've never thought of the ocean like that," Finn admitted. "Every wave, every current, it's all connected, isn't it?" "Yes," the whale said gently. "Even the smallest kindness, like releasing a fish back to the sea, ripples far and wide. The ocean remembers, Fisherman." For a moment, Finn thought about what the giant whale could mean for his village. If he brought the whale back, the villagers would be amazed. They would think he was the greatest fisherman who ever lived. But deep down, Finn knew that the whale didn't belong to anyone. Its home was the vast, open sea. It wasn't a prize or a possession, it was a living, magical being. "You should stay free," Finn said finally, his voice steady. "The ocean is where you belong." The whale looked at Finn with appreciation. "Thank you, Fisherman," it said. "Even on land, you understand the heart of the sea." With a flick of its massive tail, the whale created a trail of sparkling water that shimmered like stardust. It swam away, its glowing patterns lighting up the waves as it disappeared into the horizon. Though Finn felt a twinge of sadness, he knew he had made the right choice. "Goodbye, friend," he whispered, watching the sparkling trail fade into the distance. As the sun began to set, painting the sky with warm golden hues, Finn rowed his boat back to the shore. His heart was full, not just with the memory of his extraordinary encounter, but with the lessons he had learned. Amber was waiting for him by the cottage door, her tail flicking eagerly. Finn laughed as he gently scratched the cat behind her ears. He fed her a juicy fish he had caught earlier, his mind still replaying the magical moment with the whale. The next day, Finn told the villagers about his meeting with the giant whale. Their eyes widened in wonder as he described the glowing patterns and the whale's wise words. The children especially loved the story, imagining the magical creature swimming out in the vast blue sea. "Do you think the whale will come back someday?" one of them asked. Finn smiled. "Perhaps," he said, looking out at the horizon. "The ocean is full of surprises." Later that evening, Finn sat by the lighthouse, watching the waves crash gently against the rocks below. The sky was filled with stars, and the lighthouse's beam cast its steady light into the dark sea. He thought about the whale's words and the connection they had shared. He hoped that the children who heard his story would grow up to love and protect the ocean, just as he did. The wind carried the soft sound of the waves, lulling Finn into peaceful thoughts. He took a deep breath and closed his eyes, thankful for the adventure he had been given. The story of Finn and the big whale reminds us of the wonders that await in the world and the importance of kindness and respect for nature. It encourages us to stay curious, take care of what we love, and let magical moments inspire us to dream big. And as the waves whispered their lullabies to the cliffs and the lighthouse stood tall under the starry sky, Finn smiled, ready for whatever adventures tomorrow would bring.